Hi Cancer, welcome to your quantum reading. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to my cross watchers. Cross watcher, you could be dealing with a Cancer. The message could be for you. Feel free to take it however it resonates with you and your situation. Keep in mind these are general and timeless readings. Everything that you need to access is down below in my description box, my website link, and Instagram handle. Never give your power away over to these readings. You're in full control over your own life choices and decisions. And thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing. Thank you for all the ways you've been here and supported the channel. Let's dive in. Okay, center we have the Starborn, which could be maybe you, maybe I'll take that as you. You could have a child in the environment that you're dealing with. And basically what it's saying, the crone represents like an elder feminine. Usually like a grandmother, honestly, because you guys probably know this, but there's like a 3-step archetype of maiden, mother, and the crone, and it's generally female based, but you know, I'll try not to be so stick to that completely. Take whatever interpretation you want. So you could be maybe going through some kind of gestational period. Some of you guys, if you're dealing with a child, this is definitely your reading. But you might be going through some kind of a process, whatever that represents with the Starborn, which may mean a transformation is on the way, either in your life or your health, or just could be some kind of significant change that's going to happen. But this feminine here, I am going to throw caution to the wind and say that they might not be as like intuitive. Usually the crone is highly psychic or intuitive, but there's a blockage there for some particular reason. Who knows what it is? Oh, maybe it's because of this dynamic. So we have the Sun, and then we have the King of Swords in the reverse. If you have someone here in your environment, King of Swords reverse, it looks like there's a person that could be looking at you or observing you. They think that you're very positive minded and that you're you shine, you like have all these really good qualities, stuff like that. The Knight of Cups is in the reverse though. Your experience of someone might be that someone could be a little bit cold or detached or just not emotionally available to you for whatever reasons. This also could be a part of the dynamic that happened. If there was a person that became aware of you, aka our little King of Swords character, that can be a person who's like, I usually call it my cerebral narcissist or nice guy narcissist. Those are just like a couple of different ways, but that's kind of why someone is just turned off their emotional supply, because it's like challenging for this person to maybe do it in general, because this could be so overwhelming. This person could be doing certain things, especially the King of Swords has a very strong voyeuristic streak or an unempathetic streak, which means that when they feel like something isn't going their way or they want to get revenge, they will like generally set up this 3 tactic in general, where if they became aware of you and saw that you had these qualities, they could have wanted to create a specific emotional response within someone, possibly a water sign that you've been dealing with. And that's partly why it's like the emotional capacity is just done right here. Or this person might not know. It's like when this comes in and it becomes so overwhelming, it can be really challenging to even give any more emotions to any relationships, because you're just kind of more focused on survival, because your body is just like taking so many hits. And so that's kind of like this situation that's going on. We have the 4 of Pentacles in the reverse. That was the recent past. There's the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. There's the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands in the reverse is in the blockage. Nine of Cups is in the reverse. Queen of Wands is there. If you have fire sign like other placements, there's a strong aspect of that coming in. But the Six of Wands is in the reverse is the outcome, and the Six of Swords is in the upright. Wow. Didn't really see that coming. Okay, so there you are. You could be feeling really like joyful, happy, positive, and there's these other energies that are somewhere in your life, and maybe maybe you could have tried to present something or along those lines, because you could be observing a person that looks like they're like going through some kind of struggles, and maybe even monetarily it might look like that, but there's progress building in a particular direction. But you could be, it's like there's a person here that's just kind of shutting down emotionally, or doesn't see it so much as like a full-blown, like a very emotionally nourishing situation all around. Maybe you feel like that towards someone, because maybe this is just shut down in general, because it looks like the history is playing into this for sure, and this interaction also could have played a part. For example, if you, let's say at one time someone had opened up to you emotionally or shared some vulnerable things, and then let's say that you, maybe it was, who knows what it was, but if it seemed, when these two people start interacting, like this is generally a narcissist and an empath, like straight up, and if you came into the mix and you're doing fine or whatever, your situation is going well, if you had made some kind of move that seemed, because when these two start dealing with each other, the narcissist will start like developing a smear campaign, which means a lot of people will be involved, because they generally gather alliances and try to apply the whole ostracism tactic. So that's why they'll start doing all these things to, like, intentionally push a person out or continue to make them feel rejection over and over again. And so if you came in and you were supposed to have, because the Sun card is like a lot of Leo energy, and Leos are like crazy about loyalty, like almost in a like wow perfectionist way. Loyalty is great, but it's like holy shiz, the standards are crazy. So anyway, if you in any way made a move or an intention that seemed like you had aligned with someone else rather than someone else that you were supposed to have a loyalty to, that's why someone is not going to continue growing this situation. And it's like, it was a really, these dynamics are straight up insane. And to go through it, like, maybe maybe you've come out the other side. If you have, congratulations. But like, that's why loyalty and alliance, they do matter a lot when you're going through, especially something like ostracism and smear campaigns. It's like really, it'll take a toll on you in every single way. Like, if you Google it, you can see a little diagram. I've posted it on my Instagram. All that is very real. Comes along with depression, anxiety, and other really unpleasant things. And so maybe you felt justified. Maybe you felt like someone was getting what they deserved. I'm not totally sure what the whole situation was going on, or, you know, I'm not going to try to predict exactly what you were feeling or thinking. You just might be, it's like interesting because you always, when you get to a good place, when you're in a really positive mindset, it's like you're in that space and you're not in the same space as others. Like, they're going through their own stuff, and that can be a little challenging to relate with when you're not on the same frequency. And so it's like there's these challenges that kind of continuously come up, and it's just like, no. There's been too much history. In the past, there was a lot of just like weird, confusing mixed signals in this dynamic where it's like, you know how general relationships, you can go a period of time and then you pick things back up and it's all good and normal, and it's like, but there were times in the past when things were just cold. And probably because you didn't really like maybe the way that someone had responded to you, because it could have come across as unempathetic, but there's just too much. Like, there's too much that's transpired here. And I just think in general, it's like, I don't think it's really the healthiest to go into, like, to hold on to relationships just to have the title that you have had this particular relationship in your life for however many years, when it's actually not as nourishing. And I don't feel, especially in this particular dynamic, it won't be reciprocal as far as the support going on both sides. When you're good, I'm sure it's really great for you to show up, but when it's like there's almost a double standard, maybe that's not even the right word, but there's something that's like not reciprocated there, where in some relationships it's like when people are doing well and you just like full on support them, and there's no jealousy or rivalry or competition, and then you can see the difference when you elevate into some kind of potential, like either, you know, your health goes through a transformation or something like that, and then all of a sudden you see another person not reciprocate that support or become hypercritical. It's like, no, that's not a real relationship, whether it's romance, friendship, I don't care what it is. It's just, there's too many of those situations that have accumulated here, and it's not going to continue. And I know, like, especially over this, I'm all into astrology, and there's just like a difference, like you and a person, like you're just going in different directions. That's okay. It's totally fine. It's just like, it's not really wise to continue to force relationships or situations because of whatever the reasons are, whatever they are. But it's like forgiveness, but to allow things to separate the way that they are, I think is the most beneficial, at least me, because there's all these, it's just a lot of mixed signals. It never really ends up, it might be just like challenging to accept that some, like a relationship isn't becoming a victory. I think that's a very natural human response, to look at a relationship as a failure and not wanting to do that. Like, you want to fight for it, you want to make it happen, but it's like, no, there's some differences here. There's some significant differences that just might not really be aligning anymore. And I guess that's the really strange thing about this dynamic. It's just much more. And right now, I'm sure you'll be tempted to say, like, this person is not healthy in the way they show up for you, that they're not a good boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, whatever. I'm sure you're probably thinking all that and coming up with all the ways that will validate that experience, and that's totally fine. But, you know, it goes on both sides, and it's just like there's been a repetitive history of feeling this being kept out, or this ostracism that's at a really deep level. And it's like really confusing, because you know when someone becomes emotionally available to you and you've wanted something for a long time, and you're like, oh, you should do this, you know, and then when that person finally does, and then you kind of shut down, that's a part of this, like, push and pull that happens, I feel like, between water air energies. I swear it's always between these two, especially when it comes to Aquarius. But like, Aquarius and Cancers have the craziest push-pull in the world. But then it's just strange, because it's like that will play out. What did I just say? So it's like, yeah, you could have wanted something for a long time from someone, for them to like maybe come closer because you wanted the closeness or whatever. And then all of a sudden, someone's life aligned to that. They were able to do it, to like maybe be more of a supportive system, but there was a lack of response. Like all of a sudden it was just completely shut down. So it's like really confusing, because then it's back on again. Like once someone removes their emotions and starts moving on and going in a different direction, all of a sudden it's like there's an extension of an offer. It's becoming way too complicated. It's almost like that relationship needs therapy in and of itself. It's getting too complicated and complex, and probably even borderlining toxic. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys got something useful from this. If you want to join me in the extended, feel free. Go down below, click on the Vimeo link, see it over there. But Cancer, if this is where we leave things, sending you so much love. Wishing you all the very best. See you in the next reading. Take care.